The following is a production of Natural Bliss Podcast for a better quality of life. Welcome to It's Your Life with your host, Joyce Wheeler. My name is Randy, and Joyce and I are both in the studio today. Welcome, Joyce.
Hi, Randy.
I understand you have an interesting guest today.
I do.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about her, and I'm going to turn the mic over to you.
Thank you. Welcome. I'm here today, Wednesday, October 24th, 2018, with Marla Gates from the Organic for Green Living's blog. Her mission is to educate the public about health, environmental issues, and help you live a green and healthy lifestyle in every aspect of your life. Marla feels that every individual has a duty to do their part in cleaning up our toxic world and helping to preserve our planet for all future generations. She believes we should live as naturally and organically as possible in every aspect of our lives. Marla wants to help you and your family live a happier, healthier life. Welcome to the show, Marla. It's good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about your blog. Your blog is Organic for Green Livings.
Yes.
And what got you started on this blog? What was your motivation?
I actually health problems. I had many allergies and food allergies, multiple chemical sensitivities, and other health issues. And I no longer could work outside of my home. It got to that point, and I was trying to find a way to something to focus on and possibly, earn a little extra money and to I always liked to write a lot. I really did. And I was good at writing. And I thought this was a way to take things that I've experienced and to maybe help other people through blogging and doing it and with my experiences I have, and just to help others be aware of all the toxicity and all the things that are in the world that a lot of people aren't aware about.
Right.
What we're eating, what we're buying in the store, all the misinformation that's out there, and all the lying is the best. I mean, there's no other way to say it, that the companies do. The greenwashing,
And in the beauty care industry world, they call it fairy dusting.
Yeah.
It's kind of like just sugarcoating things to make it look like it's something that it really isn't.
Right. It's just like the world natural. I know people, my mother has said that, well, it's natural, it's good. I said, no. Natural absolutely has nothing. It's just a tag they put on to mislead people. There's no stipulation. It could be filled with strychnine, and put natural on it.
Right. Yeah, we're very deceived, and you're correct about the words that are put out there to deceive the public, and the word natural is one of those that we see a lot of. And the thing is too is that these industries are allowed to get away with this. The regulations are so loose that these companies do whatever they want. And if they want to put arsenic in our food, then, they go ahead and they pay to have that done. Just go ahead to the government and have that done. And that's no big deal to them. I don't understand how they sleep at night.
Nope. Well, I guess that all that money helps them.
Having stuff that's in their bed, right?
Yes. The thing is, there's sometimes people just don't think or care. If they're making money, unfortunately, our world is not filled with a lot of people that care about what happens to other people. I mean, there's a lot of people that do care, but there's a lot of people with money that do not care, and their main objective is to make money. That's just the way life is and the way the world is. And I don't think that will ever change. So we, as people, we got to, more than any time ever, we have to start educating ourselves what's out there and what's going on, because if we don't, we'll put ourselves and our families at a great risk. And trusting someone else, trusting our doctor, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't trust your doctor. I'm saying do your research and make sure you know, because again, your doctor only knows what they are taught. Make sure that what you are doing is the best choice. Do your research, understand what is happening, ask questions, make sure that whatever treatment or whatever you're doing is the best choice. Do not in any way afraid to say no to a treatment you feel that is not safe, because it is your body,
That's
it
right.
is your decision,
And,
it is your
speaking of the
life.
body, that's one thing too. The body does talk to us. And if there's something wrong in the body, then that's the body saying, hey, look, I'm out of balance. I'm out of whack. Something within me isn't right. You got to fix me. And these pharmaceuticals that people are being given, all that's doing is turning off the part in our brain that's telling us that something's wrong. The problem is still there. The problem has not been fixed. And people are so quick to go to the doctor's office, to the healthcare professional, and take a pill. I had a friend of mine who was dealing with some issues, and I asked her about it. She says, oh, the doctor gave me some medicine. I'm fine now. I'm like, okay. And that's the thing, too. There's so many people who aren't willing to listen. How do we get people to listen to what we're telling them?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, we have a choice. And, some people aren't going to listen until they get very sick, and then they might still never listen. It's just like a situation of people smoke, and there's no doubt or any question that smoking is very harmful to your health, but yet they continue to smoke. So,
well, that's interesting too that
you
bring
up personal choice.
Tobacco, because the tobacco, the issue with the tobacco that's even out there is there's so many chemicals that are in it. They even have the fiberglass is in it. Then there's a lot of toxic chemicals that are being used as fillers from the tobacco industry, that it's not even actual tobacco that people are smoking. So, not only are they smoking, and that's are already harmful to their health, but then they're smoking cigarettes that are filled with toxins. I think tobacco in its natural form isn't as harmful as what they do to it. And, is that possibly where all the issues are stemming from, is to all the chemical fillers that these companies are allowed to put in the tobacco.
Plus, they put things in to make it addicting, so that they have actually proven that they have put chemicals in that makes your body crave it. And what to do with money, because they want to sell more cigarettes.
But my question is, if it's so bad for us and it harms us so much, why do they continue to keep it on the market? Because what you said, it's money, and then they could go ahead and then people go and they get lung cancer.
Right.
And then, they're making more money from that.
Off the chemotherapy, off the radiation, and my understanding, I've read many times where chemotherapy itself kills more people.
Right. You're absolutely
than cancer actually does. You're overdosing of chemo, and plus just what chemo does, it's just putting poison in your body. It's not only killing bad cells, it's killing the good cells. It just amazes me that's the first thing, chemo or radiation. And come on, let's think about what radiation is. And then there's alternative solutions out there. You just need to find them. And eventually, I think slowly it is changing, but it is slow and it is not going to happen overnight. But there is more and more people becoming aware of that they do have other options available.
Well, I think, too, that's one thing, is that people have to start changing their lifestyle. And we've talked to people, my husband and I, about the lifestyle that we live and how we live naturally. And we're doing things to prevent bad quality of life. We want to make sure that we're doing things so we have the best quality of life that we can have. But there's people out there that they don't care. They continue to go ahead. We just recently were talking to a young man, and he said, well, I know you guys care about the genetically modified organisms in your food, but you know what? I don't. I was just like, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's a personal choice.
Exactly.
But what's sad is if you don't care about yourself, what about if people have children? It's hard. It's just hard for me to understand how they want to expose their own body, but to give their children, they don't know any better, a choice. They don't have a choice. They eat what you feed them. what you put in front of them.
Well, and not only that, but then you have mothers who are pregnant who aren't minding their health and they're passing these harmful toxins onto their unborn babies. So that's a big factor too. And then we're wondering why our society is so sick.
Exactly. And, I was just listening, and I've often read this about, there's all these food allergies now, and you never used to. When I was a kid, I never even heard food allergies.
Or autism.
Well, come on, wake up. There's something wrong in our food. It's like all the gluten allergies. Gluten didn't become a problem until they started genetically modifying
Right.
it. And that's when it's not, if we go back to with the way our grandparents ate, where they ate what was really truly wheat that God provided. But it's not that anymore. It's been genetically modified in so many different ways. They put pesticides in the seeds. Come on, that's not food, or it shouldn't be food that we eat.
It's not, and that's the problem with it. And another reason why we have so much sickness in our society is because it isn't food. And our body doesn't recognize the DNA. And it's going, what am I supposed to do with this? Our bodies don't know what to do with it. So it gets stored in cells, it gets stored in fat, and all kinds of other places.
It becomes overloaded. Is what happens. Is it's like you can only a barrel can only hold so much, and everybody's barrel is at a different level. Okay. But after a while, when you fill it up with too much toxins, it's going to spout out over and run over. And that's when the illnesses start. And, whether it's food allergies or
autoimmune disorders.
Yes, autoimmune disorders, even like autism, HGA, attention deficit disorder. I've read many, many things, and that it has to do with or linked to what children eat many times, where they've changed their diets and their behavior has changed dramatically.
Yep. And a lot of them, when I was doing the It's Your Life magazine, the first issue came out April 2015. And it was National Autism Awareness Month. And I had heard of people that were able to rid their children of symptoms of autism. And I could have went ahead and just, talked about that and did some more research, but I wanted to make it more personal. And I found Kathleen and got her to do an interview, and she was just trying to give her son a better quality of life. And that's the misunderstanding about autism too, is they try to pinpoint it to one thing. It's the vaccines, it's the food. It's not. It's various things. And the thing is that these children have let's call it a loop in their DNA. There's something in their DNA that allows for them to get autism, because obviously if vaccines caused autism, all children would have autism. So it's underlying factors. And it's the food. This mother, she put him organic food, but she also took out gluten. She took out dairy. There were certain things she took out of his diet. But then she also found out that he was vitamin deficient, which the majority of our society is. In some magnesium is a big deficiency we're dealing with. But she found out which vitamins he was deficient in, and she started supplementing those, giving him more of the foods that contain those vitamins and minerals. And she took him to the doctor one time, and he said he shows no signs at all of being on the spectrum. So, I'm curious to know, again, because the spectrum is wide. You have cases that are very mild and cases that are very dramatic. So I'm curious to see and would love to learn if there's anybody out there, or even like the age of the child. This was a young child, I think maybe 6 or 7 he was at the time. Or even find out, say like a teenager who's already gone through puberty and has experienced all these changes in their bodies, if they went ahead and took these steps, if they too could be rid of the symptoms or even reduce the symptoms. So I'd be curious to know about that.
Yeah, that is very interesting, Doc.
Yeah, and that's even, you were talking about a lot of the health issues that we're dealing with. Another one is the Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yes, and they have linked that to, there has been links that they have to aluminum toxicity,
yes,
which you can get from many things, like
deodorant.
Aluminum, yes. and it's in a lot of your skincare products, shampoos, everything. I've read many times about the average person puts just in one morning, puts about 180 to 200 chemicals in or on their body in one morning.
And the thing about that is that anything you put into your body absorbs into your bloodstream within 26 seconds. Like
Yes.
26 seconds is all it.
Shampoo, it's in the soap, the chemicals, it's in the all the lotions, the hairsprays, all the hair products. And there is alternatives to that. I mean, because everybody wants to be clean and everything, but you can make. I'm a big DIY person of making my own products if I can, especially cleaning products. That's a big issue to me too, because it's like what you clean your home with, your children are breathing that in constantly. Right. And especially in the wintertime when it's like in areas like, of course, where I live, it gets cold and everything's closed up and it doesn't have any way to escape.
No, and from a lot of what I've read and heard, our indoor environment is more toxic than it is outside because they've got
indoor air is about, I've read different, some say 80% more toxic and some say 90% more toxic than the outdoor air, and I can believe that. I really can.
Well, yeah, because they started when they started doing the flame retardant, that contains formaldehyde. So it's in our clothes, it's in our couches, it's in the rugs, it's in our bedding, it's in our beds, it's in everything, and it's not even just that. Let's talk about the electromagnetic field. That's something that a lot of people are having an issue with, and a lot of people don't even realize it.
And people think you're crazy when you talk about it.
People think I'm crazy anyway when I talk.
I really, so many people are not aware of that. I mean, it's slowly becoming, and I got for my cell phone. I mean, cell phones all this is great, our technology, but it's also paying a price to our health. But I have on my cell phone electromagnetic, especially EMF blocker that my phone is in, and also you should never hold the phone up to your head.
Do you know that there are actually, when you get your cell phone in the pamphlet that you get with it, it actually says in there that you should not have that phone. I think it's within an inch or 2 inches of your body, so we shouldn't even be holding it.
Right.
And these people, it kills me, these people that put their cell phones in their pockets.
Yeah, with my husband, I kept trying to get him to understand about that, and I finally, he's been a lot more careful, and he's been using his speakerphone more now than putting it up to his head all the time.
Yeah, I always use my speakerphone.
You never put it in my head, never. I mean, in fact, I can tell as soon as I do, I can feel pain in my head.
Can you? So you're sensitive. See, some people are sensitive like that and others aren't. But then I'm not wondering, because so many people don't know about the EMFs that we're being bombarded by. If they have symptoms like insomnia, the EMFs will cause you to have insomnia. I have a friend of mine, and she's always saying she has insomnia. Well, I've heard her talk multiple times about having her phone on her bedstand at night. And I told her, I said, you know what? I said, do an experiment. Don't put your cell phone, by your bed. Put your cell phone someplace else. But then I found out she sleeps in the living room. So if she's sleeping in the living room, does she have a Wi-Fi box in there? Which is a lot of EMFs.
Right. The smart meter thing now, and that's sort of something I battled with that with a long time. Like, they have smart meters, and you can't, like in my case, I can't get rid of the smart meter unless it would cost me thousands and thousands of dollars. My electric company, and it's all an individual, what your electric company will do if you think that I even had a medical letter written by a doctor that, to the company, my provider or electric company. But the only way they would move the smart meter off my house is if we paid to put another pole in, and then we had to pay, I don't know, it was that, and we'd have to dig a line and all this. It had been thousands of dollars. And the
And that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous because I'm sure you didn't ask for it to be put on your house, did you?
No, that's the thing. Now, see, they do send you a letter. They said they sent you a letter. But the thing is, the letter doesn't give you a choice. And they might have sent us a letter 10, 12 years ago when they did it. But they will just, if you actually, my electric company just pretty much laughed at me and made fun of me.
Really?
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, what did you say that? What did you say that they were laughing about? Did you mention the EMFs?
Yes, they said, well, that's
Yeah.
that, they just made light of it. There is no such thing. There's no danger to it. That, crazy.
Well, good. Then you know what? Take it off my house and put it on your house. That's just like these dentists saying that the fluoride ain't bad for you, or going back to the vaccines again, they're not bad for you.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what? The elite. Illuminati and the elite people, they're not vaccinating their kids. They're not giving them fluoride.
No.
They're not doing it. You know what? I mean, if you want me to do it, you want me to have my kids do it, then you do it. And they won't because they know how toxic it is. So that's ridiculous for them to want you to go ahead and pay to have something removed from your house that they made you put in that you didn't even want in the first place. That's absurd.
Yeah. But, it depends on the company. Some companies will move it. And there was no way that I even know. I did talk to supposed to be one of the top specialists about it. And he said, I gave up the fight because I fought it for a long time. There's no way I could financially afford it. Plus, he also, the guy I talked to that was supposed to be a real, had done a lot of studies on it. He said, there's no way to know that if you move it, that for sure that it would even, help. There's no way to be sure of that. And he said, if they will move it for you and not make you pay, then it's let them to go do it. But he said, if they're going to ask you to pay thousands of dollars, which I couldn't, even if I wanted to, he said, I would just not do it. He said, because the thing is, it's so hard. Sometimes people move it and it doesn't help anyways. And there's different types of smart meters, and some are worse than others, too.
Well, see, the thing is, too, it might not help because of the fact that, again, we have the Wi-Fi boxes, we have the microwaves, the refrigerators, anything that runs on electricity, that's the electromagnetic field, and it's actually hurting our electromagnetic field within our body. When I had the It's Your Life magazine, I wanted to do an article on the electromagnetic field. And I mean, during my research, they had said that when they first started putting electricity into like factories and stuff, the workers were complaining about headaches. They had flu symptoms. I mean, that should have been a sign right there. I mean, if all the employees or a big majority of your employees are all complaining about the same symptoms around the same time that this is put into a facility, don't you think that you should be questioning why this is? But they don't.
Well, I tell you, there's different things you can do to protect yourself because there's no way to get away from electromagnetic field because they're in the air and everything because of all the cell phone towers and everything else that's out there. So there's no way to completely get away from them. But you can do things like on my computer, I have a cover over my screen that blocks the EMF sun. And I also have a Himalaya salt lamp.
Okay.
I have one in my bedroom, but I turn it off at night because it's too bright.
Yeah, I do. We do too. We have one in our living room and one in our bedroom.
And I have one right beside my computer it's on 24 hours a day. And I have one right beside, in each room I have one, and I keep them on all the time, except the one in the bedroom I do turn off at night because it's too bright.
Right.
But the first thing I get up in the morning, I turn it on and leave it on all day. And it's good for allergies and it helps clean the air. And it also helps to eliminate or calm down those EMF.
Right.
So,
and there's other things too that when I was doing my research, I was looking to give people things that they could do to deal with the electromagnetic field. And at first, everything that I was finding was like some kind of pad that you put onto your laptop, and it was hundreds of dollars. And I was just thinking, this is crazy. There's got to be something else. And what I found is that some of the crystals, black tourmaline is one of them. It's excellent and it's not expensive. That's something that we could keep on us.
That protects you from EMFs?
Yes,
Oh,
black tourmaline. It's a crystal.
okay.
And
I was unaware of.
also pyrite. Pyrite is another one that protects against the electromagnetic field. And then there's a mineral that I discovered during that research called shungite. And shungite is actually a mineral that comes from Russia. And it also contains pyrite and quartz. And it is in the carbon family. So it's been used to purify water. And it's actually a very powerful mineral. It's said to contain all of the medicinal properties and all the energies of all the crystals. So that's something that we have. When you were talking, what you have on the back of your phone, we have a shungite patch. It's got shungite powder on it, and then we have the patch that we stick to our phones. And then my husband and I wear shungite, and I actually sell shungite over at the local market that I go to. And also, if anybody's interested in a shungite, you can go to hborganicskincare.com, and I have it on my website also too.
That's interesting need to know. It really is. I'll have to check into that.
Yeah, and the thing about the unique thing about shungite too is that you can actually measure the resistance. Like all crystals have energy, but they can't be measured. My husband does electronic repair, and he has this device that measures energy resistance. And when we first got the shungite, we wanted to see to make sure that it was real. And we tested it. We took the other crystals and put the probes on them, and nothing happened. But we put them on the shungite. You could see that energy. And the thing is that another thing the shungite does by wearing it is the cells in our body are supposed to go clockwise, but because of the electromagnetic field that we're bombarded by, it makes them go counterclockwise. So by wearing the shungite, what we're doing is the shungite's turning our cells back again to go clockwise like they're supposed to. A lot of people have dealt with health issues and started wearing the shungite and actually saw a reduction and even been non-existent in what they were dealing with.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, I found it really interesting. And like I said, I found that when I was doing my research for the article in the magazine is when I found that. And then I just got very involved and started carrying it. And I'll go ahead and I'll wrap the wire wrap the shungite, and I sell them as necklaces. And then I also sell small nuggets. I do 3 in an organza bag, and you can put those in your glass of water and it'll purify your water. And it'll energize it too, because water has memory. You can actually program your water. Dr. Emoto, you can find his work on YouTube. He did a lot with that. How not just our words, but also our emotions and our feelings have an effect on water. And when we say kind things, thank you, I love you, beautiful crystals form in the water. But when people say ugly things or think ugly things, and not just to somebody else, but even about yourself too, this is why we need to be careful about what we're thinking and what we're saying and the words we're choosing, because our words are very powerful. But when people spewed out ugly words, there weren't these beautiful crystals. It was like, oh, is what it looked like. So then that makes me wonder also too, if our thoughts, our emotions, and our words have an effect on water like that, and we're what, like 98% water, something like that, 96?
Well, I do believe very much that a body, mind, and spirit are all very connected in so many ways that, if you're healthy, negativity of thoughts can make you sick if you constantly think negative or just I'm not someone that believes that because you believe something it's going to happen just because you believe it. But how you think, if you think positive, it can definitely have an effect on how your body functions, and you can, overcome things much quicker.
Right.
If you have more positive thought.
Right. Exactly. And not only that, Greg Braden. Have you ever listened to any of Greg Braden's stuff? Are you familiar with his work?
I'm not sure offhand. I might have. I just can't recognize it offhand.
Okay. He gave on YouTube, gave a talk, and I wish I could remember the name of it, but I can't. But he was talking about how they're monitoring space. And in space, they found this enormous, just black space. There's nothing there, just black. And they've been monitoring this space. And when 9/11 happened, they noticed activity in the space. And they're like, whoa, what's that? So then they also noticed it around Christmas time. So what they concluded was that so many people during those two times were feeling the same emotions and the same feelings. And it was put out because everything is energy, right? So that energy was being put out into the universe. So what we do, what we say, what we think not only affects us, it affects the other people in the world, and it also affects our planet. So we want to speak positive things. We want to think positive things, not just to others, but also about ourselves, and not be ugly. We live in a very complex world, and our bodies are very complex. And it's just a matter of understanding. I mean, these are things we should be taught in school, and we're not. Instead, we learn all this other BS that doesn't help us in life at all. So let's talk more about your blog content.
Okay. My blog is a lot variety of things. I mean, I do things about organic gardening, and I have different categories and stuff. And I do articles on allergies and different things to help allergies and environmental issues, or about anything like the EMFs,
Now, you said that you like to make your own cleaning products. So do you put these recipes up on your blog?
Yes, I do. I do. I have quite a few, and I have the recipes in DIY remedies and solutions, and usually they're under that category. I don't buy any cleaning products. We only use baking soda, peroxide, and I use vinegar, and I make my own vinegar cleaner I use orange pills and soak them in vinegar in like a 2-quart jar for about a month, put them on the windowsill, and it will absorb the citrus. You just take the peelings now of the oranges or any kind of citrus. But I use oranges because that's what my husband eats all the time in the winter is oranges. And you can use lemons, and because a lot of the products you buy in the store have a lot of citrus. It's a big cleaner. Right. Helps you clean a lot. And I'll tell you what, my husband, he cleans our shower stall out because I can't do it myself, but he said it's the best thing that he's ever used.
Really?
Yes, and it's so easy to make. It's just a matter, I collect the peelings. I keep them in a plastic bag in the refrigerator as he eats them. When I get enough, I put in a 2-quart mason jar. You can use any size you want, really. But I use a 2-quart mason jar, and I usually do this in the wintertime, and I'll put it on my windowsill, and I leave it there 3 to 4 weeks. I put my date on top, and and you can see it slowly coloring, getting darker and darker, and you pour white vinegar over it and cover up the orange pills, okay? And you don't have to fill it up to the very top with orange pills, but I want to get a good bit of citrus in there, and so I fill it at least, like halfway with citrus pills, and then I pour the white vinegar over, and then just let it sit on the windowsill. And like I said, I date it, so I know, because I'm usually doing a couple, and then I'll wait to have more, and then I'll date that one. And I make sure it's at least 3 weeks. Lucy, I make it, 4 weeks. And by the time it's done, and I'll take and strain it, because take the orange pills out and you strain it out. Just get the liquid, and everything. And then I store it in a glass mason jar and put it somewhere dark, like in a drawer. I don't let it set out. And I use that. I'll make it throughout the winter, and I'll usually have a number of jars, and I give some to my sister and all that. She uses it all the time too, because she really liked it when she used it, and my mother and stuff. And we use that all the time. We just put it in a spray bottle. In fact, I got to start making some because I'm almost out of it from last week.
So that's all you're using is vinegar with orange peels? And you say no. One of the things that I've had a hard time with the natural products is because we're in Louisiana. It's very hot here. It's very humid here, and things rust and they get moldy. Mold is a big issue down here, and that's something that we have not been able to figure out how to deal with. What's outside of you using bleach?
Well, vinegar is very good to get rid of mold. There's also tea tree, excuse me, I said tea
tree
oil. I can't say that ever. It's very good to put a couple drops of that. I use essential oils too at times to clean. And we get mold around our windows in one extra room where we store our food and vegetables and everything for the winter, and it's not heated or anything. And of course, it will get a lot of moisture on windows, and mold will start growing in there. And my husband takes in, because I'm very allergic to mold, so he takes in, he'll wipe it off with vinegar, spray it with the vinegar and citrus spray, or even just plain vinegar will help get rid of mold. And the tea tree oil, there's different recipes with that, with tea tree oil. And I think eucalyptus is also helpful in mold. You can actually put, if you want to make a stronger smell of the citrus, you can also just use like essential oil, put a couple drops of orange or lime or grapefruit in to make it stronger and give it a stronger smell, because everybody likes, the nice smell of the citrus. And I do that too with my cleaner. And I use baking soda, and with the vinegar solution, which, it foams all up in my bathroom all the time. That's all I use. A peroxide I use all the time. Like clean our windows. We have big picture windows in our family room. My husband uses really pretty much, it's half water and half hydrogen peroxide. And that's what he cleans, and it cleans great. Cleans the windows great without buying toxic Windex or whatever it is. But vinegar is so strong smelling, and the smell bothers me. So he uses the peroxide. And I always have we have a spray bottle available. I use to clean my floors, either the hydrogen peroxide, half water, half hydrogen peroxide, or the vinegar spray. And that's what I use to clean my floors, which I have they're laminated wood.
But we have that too.
And they clean very well. I'll use either one, or, I'll switch off and on. And I first use a mop that dusts it, get all the dirt up, and I clean that up, and then I spray it with that. On the other side of the mop is like a cleaning part, that has little rivets on. And it spray it, and can't believe the dirt it picks up.
What size mason jar are you using when you're infusing the orange peels into the vinegar?
I use a 2-quart. That's just my preference, because I have two big, wide 2-quart jars. Now, if you wanted to do something bigger, you could, or smaller, you could use 1 quart.
How far do you fill it with the orange peel? Are you filling it halfway up, all the way up? How far are you going up with your orange peels?
I do normally at least halfway up. Sometimes I'll go a little more than that. And then I pour. You got to keep the orange peels covered, because it will, after a while, after a week or so, you see it will start going down, because, the peelings are absorbing. Then I put more vinegar in it, because I keep it, so you keep the orange peels covered. I fill it up to the top. And every once in a while, I'll add a little bit more vinegar if I see if it's going down, so they don't start to mold.
All right. Now, one of the things I do is I infuse olive oil with herbs. So the process is very much the same like what you're talking about. But now with me, like the first week that I'm infusing them, I don't have a lid that covers it. I just put a paper towel over the top of it with a rubber band, and I put that over that for a week. Do you have to do something similar like that with infusing the vinegar, or can you just go ahead and put a lid on it and close it tight?
Put a lid on, and you can now. If you use a metal lid, it will rust after a while. But so if you can, a plastic lid probably is a little better. Because eventually the metal lid, will rust on you.
But you want to make sure that plastic lid is BPA free, folks.
Yes.
Definitely BPA free.
And I have regular glass jars that I bought. And there's only one place I found them online was Uline, that I store my food in. Like if I make a broth that you can freeze, and we buy raw milk. And
Is it legal? Is it legal where you are?
well, they have to, yes, it's legal as long as they have a license. They have to go through a whole,
Jump through hoops.
yeah. But yeah,
Here,
there's places to get it that, it's legal to do.
here in Louisiana, it's not legal. It is not legal to sell raw milk, not even for use with your animals. All across the board here in Louisiana, it's illegal. But there are farmers who do sell it. So if you know the right people, you can buy it. We were buying it from one farmer, and I went there one day to get my milk, and there was a sheriff's car sitting out there, and I thought, oh man, like, they're gonna bust this dude. My son was with me, and he's going, come on, Mom, let's just go. And I said, no, yeah. I was thinking about it. I was sitting there for a while. I was thinking about it. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go in there and pretend like I'm just a friend of his that came by to say, hey, nothing wrong with doing that, right? So I go in there, and the sheriff's standing there talking to him. You know why the sheriff was there? The sheriff was buying raw milk.
Oh,
That's
that's good.
It is good. It was nice to see that he wasn't busting him or anything, that, he was actually doing business with him.
We have a lot in the area I live in, and there's a lot of Amish and Mennonites and everything, especially near where my mother lives, which isn't that far away. But and that's where we usually get our raw milk. And we get it because we freeze it then. And if you get these glass jars, that are especially made to freeze stuff with, and they have plastic lids on, and you can't fill the jar the whole way up because, it needs to expand. And
right.
What we do, we'll buy a good bit at a time because we don't have anybody real close. And my husband drinks a lot of milk, and I make my own raw yogurt. So so that we don't, and it, of course, will spoil if you don't, if you let it go too long.
Right.
So we freeze it. And I tell you what, I thought, first that wouldn't work, but it doesn't change the taste at all. And in the glass jars, you don't have to worry about the plastic, because I don't really like, freezing things in plastic.
Well, that's not good. We don't want to do that. Just like we don't want to heat things up in plastic either.
So that's what we do, how we keep our raw milk. And, we could keep, buy a number of gallons at once and put them in these jars, and they don't break. They just really don't. Whatever they're made of, they're made for, especially for freezing things, or,
And where do you get those from?
It's a company called, and this is the only place I've ever found them, because I searched a long time until I found them. I knew they were available, but it's Uline. It's U, and I think -line, LINE. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah, we've done some business with them ourselves.
And they have things that you can't get anywhere else. And that's the only place I've ever really found them. And of course, once you buy them, we have them. And really, I had one that broke, that chipped after I got it, and they replaced it for me.
Really?
Yes. And I bought quart ones, and I bought 2 quart ones, and I bought pint ones because I put my broth in the pint ones, sometimes, and that kind of stuff. So, and, they're a little costly, but it's not like you have to, once you have them, you can reuse them and reuse them and reuse them.
Right. It's a one-time cost.
Right. And they have like a BPA-free plastic lid. They don't recommend you using the metal lids on the, in the freezer like that.
So going back to your cleaning product with the orange peel and the vinegar, you were saying that you use a 2-quart jar and you fill it about halfway up. How long does it take you to get all those orange peels? Your husband must eat a lot of oranges.
He does. In the wintertime, he really eats oranges because he's one thing, he takes vitamin B12, and he hasn't got a cold or anything ever since he's been taking B12 and eating oranges, and he ups his vitamin C, and he knows, and he loves oranges. and it's hard to, during the summertime, it's hard to get the oranges around this area that are good, and they're so expensive what you do get, and then they're not good. But in the wintertime, we can get them unless it's the right season in the stores. And you can get, now I even make a candy out of the orange peels, but now I buy organic oranges to do that.
So how long does it take you to be able to get enough orange peels to fill that half quart jar halfway?
Well, he eats at least one or two a day, and
Wow.
of oranges in the wintertime. So he can, and I keep them in the refrigerator in a plastic bag because they will get moldy. Orange peels and stuff get moldy very fast. And so I got to watch them that they don't get mold on, because they, if there's mold on them, I throw them out, because you definitely don't want to be making cleaner with that.
Right.
So it probably maybe a week or 2 weeks I get enough. I mean, because he gets the big navel oranges. And
now, what are you storing it in, to spray? What is the, is it like an ounce jar, or is it 2 ounces? I'm curious as to how much what you're making, how much does it make?
Well, I keep, once I empty it out and everything, you will probably get maybe about over a quart, probably about a quart and a half you end up getting out of it.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I think. I mean, that's I've never actually measured it, but I know that it takes me to, and then I store it in the other glass mason jars, and then a quart to a quart and a half at least I get out of the one jar. So I do maybe 6 or 7 jar fulls throughout the winter, and as I keep it on the windowsill and date them, and I watch them, and then once I know if the month's over, I drain it out and infuse it and just drain it off and put it in the jars, and then I pour some into when we want to use it, we pour them into the spray bottle.
Right.
The spray bottle, and if you want to put some water into it, but I usually use it full strength, but you can water it down if you want to.
Now, is there a ratio if somebody wants to dilute it? Somebody's listening and go, wow, I want to do this, and they want to dilute it. Is there a ratio?
I would think it would be whatever how strong you wanted it. And like I said, I actually do put a few drops of orange essential oil in, and sometimes a few drops of lemon in,
right,
just to help with give it more of a
right,
citrus smell, and plus it just gives it a little more boost. That's my personal thing. And then I just, as we fill the spray bottle up, and when it's empty, we refill it. I just use a funnel to pour it in.
So why don't you go ahead and give our listeners your blog address or whatever you want to give them, so that they can come and they can see you and they can learn more about living a happier, healthier life.
Okay, my website is organic4, and that's the number 4, Green Livings, and that's with an S.com. And I have a lot of, I think, very good information about a lot of different things.
You do, and Marla, I must say, you are a good writer.
Well, I also take guest posts because, and honestly, sometimes it's hard to keep the blog up and keep, it takes a lot of work. But I take guest posts because also to get other people's point of view and ideas, and my idea is just to give the best information possible, but I'm also picky at what I take.
Yeah, I hear you. I am too.
I'm not just going to take anybody's, and I take guest posts or I take sponsored posts if someone wants to advertise through a sponsored post or something like that. If it's a product that I believe in, I take them too. And it's just, my mission is just to give the best information as possible and give the best ideas. I have things about recycling and how to recycle. I use infographics that people send to me, and then I put on there that because sometimes the visual effect is real good with infographics. I get a lot of people that like them. And I do, anything about organic gardening, green living. I have a section about alternative health and herbs and vitamins.
Recipes. You have recipes.
I have some recipes, yes. I have more, the recipes are more DIY. Occasionally I'll put a smoothie recipe on, or something like that. Or around the holidays, I might put some recipes for cake or a certain type of healthy dessert or a healthy snack for your kids. How to make, peanut butter, healthy peanut butter or something like that. I know I did that before. Protein snacks, how to make your own protein snacks that are healthy for kids or for adults or anybody. I also have a new section called Other Health Issues. It's about recovery. A lot of it is addiction programs that use alternative holistic ways and stuff. And it's something that I just got into, and people have sent me information on that. And I thought that was important, how they are helping people with any type of addiction, whether it's alcohol, drugs, anything, with holistic forms of treatment integrated with regular treatment. And I have a lot of information on that too.
Is there anything else that they'll find there? Sounds like you got a lot of good stuff on there.
About how to recycle and what you should recycle and how to recycle. There's loads of stuff on here, like how to eat healthy, or what is the best foods. Like I remember I got an article about what to eat when you're pregnant. I'm not someone that believes in the vegan lifestyle, but I will put things in about eating vegetarian. Not that I directly believe in that, but it's a personal choice. But because I know some people do, so I do have things. I think I just posted one about how to get protein, vegetarian protein. There's just loads of information. I've been doing this for about 7 years, so on this blog, so I've accumulated a lot of good information.
How often do you blog?
Well, lately I've been blogging a lot more because I've been getting quite a few guest posts. So usually the only day I don't post a blog is usually Sundays. Most of the time I don't post one Sundays, but other days, usually I post at least one blog. And some are guest posts, of course, and some are I've written, some are.
And you also write blog posts for other blogs, other websites. You do that also too, don't you?
I have at times, yes. I'm trying to think of, sometimes I'll exchange from one blogger. I've written posts, especially about gardening, seems to be a thing I've done a good bit about, and exchange posts with another blogger, and then they write me a post and I write them a post. I've done that quite a bit.
And one more thing that I want to mention before we close the show is that you and your husband, you work with a organization called Join Hands. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, actually, Join Hands is a local, I think they're in different areas, but they help people that, don't have, especially at Christmas time, that, with children that their parents can't afford to get them Christmas gifts. They provide Christmas dinner for them, and all the churches and everything around, anybody can participate, give money or give food. And me and my husband started a couple years ago. He was going to start making birdhouses and all that, and we started making rocking horses, and we were going to do that. It was just what he's going to do after he retired. Well, it didn't turn out so great because we just couldn't sell them. It's hard to sell crafts. It really is. But anyways, we decided with the rocking horse, I said, what Christmas really is about giving. And I said, I would really like to be able to give to some child. And, a rocking horse, since we make these, give one. And any kid would love to have a rocking horse. And be big, so they can, from age 2 to, you have them for a number of years. We don't make the tiny ones. We make them pretty big. They're about 42 inches high, I think, or something like that. And we make and donate the rocking horse every year to Join Hands. And then they find a child that will not be able to get a Christmas gift, and they give that child, and they give him other things too. And we've donated, some other things too, stuffed toys and stuff for children. But many, they depend on that rocking horse every year.
How long have you been doing that?
We've done that for about 5 years now. And we just finished one for this year. We just got it done because my husband my husband been painting him lately, so he can't paint in the house. he has to do, and it has to be warm enough out, so he has to start before it gets too cold. And then we just finished it yesterday. Now I help him with the tail. We use yarn and all that, and the mane we use like upholstery fringe is what I ended up finding that really works great and it's easy to attach. And I help him with that, and we make the saddle. Every year that we make it a little bit different color, different saddles, and we put on the bridle and the saddle and everything. And they're usually really nice, and they're sturdy. They're very sturdy because he makes them, my husband makes things. He makes them that they're going to stay together, that they aren't going to fall apart. And this year's one is for a little girl because I had bought this pink yarn a couple years ago, and I still had it, and I used all my other yarn up. So I had pink yarn, I had pink covering for the saddle with that had little horses on, and we had a pink mane. So I said, they'll just have to give it to a little girl.
Right.
And we put some like frilly things on it and everything, and it is really pretty. And and then they usually send us a picture, if they can, of the child with it. And that makes my Christmas. It really does.
That is so sweet.
See that, that some little child has got a rocking horse that they're able to play with for quite a few years. And sometimes, it's two kids together in the same household. And it makes my Christmas. It really does. I've really felt that I've done something worthwhile to give to some child that would not have had a Christmas gift.
Right.
Because the families can't afford it. And there's a lot of families out there that can't. And that's what Christmas is about. Is about giving,
yep,
and loving, and that's the way we give. And even though I never get to meet the child or know who the child is, it's just the idea that I know that I have helped somebody.
Right. We need more of that in the world too. Less toxins, more love, and more helping.
Excuse me?
I said less toxins, more love, and more helping.
Right. And that's what my blog is about, is to help people. If I've helped one person, that I've accomplished, and it's been all worth all the work.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. All right, Marla, it has been great having you here on the show today. If you could give your blog address one more time for our listening audience, please.
organic4greenlivings.com.
Okay, you've been listening to It's Your Life. I've been your host, Joyce Wheeler, and this has been a production of the Natural Bliss Podcast. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to It's Your Life with Joyce Wheeler, a production of Natural Bliss Podcast for a better quality of life.